Broadview Networks is a really large carrier. I don't want to throw out numbers, but I think it's like 400 million, give or take a few million. But they're doing some really unique things in the marketplace. Their bonuses are excellent. I think the bonus right now is like 300% up front, which has been a standing bonus the entire year. So there's never been a better time to make money with these guys. Their offering is truly unique too. They do some things that other companies do not. For shared environments specifically, they really do some nice stuff. And with that, I'm going to let Donna and Chris take it away. They can talk much more knowledgeably. So
thank you,
guys.
Thank you. All right, before you guys groan and say, oh no, another hosted provider, I'll just tell you in the next few minutes, our whole goal is just to tell you why we think our offering is a bit unique and where you might be able to find a spot for us in your portfolio. I'm Donna Wenk. I run the channel. With me here is Chris Reese. Chris is the local channel manager here in Fort Lauderdale. I just want to take a minute and tell you about Broadview. Is anybody here already familiar with Broadview? Or a couple of hands? Okay. Just a little bit. We have been around for 20 years. It's actually our 20-year anniversary this year that we're celebrating. So we've been around a long time. We started as a Northeast CLEC and have migrated over the last 12 years to be a hosted provider. Our entire goal and consistent message you'll hear from our team is we want to be the #1 hosted provider nationwide. So we still have a legacy base of traditional voice and data customers up in the Northeast, but everything we're doing is all about expanding our hosted offering nationwide. And we're trying to do that through the channel. So we have hired a team of 40 people in the channel underneath me, and we're rolling out nationwide, trying to get our name known outside the Northeast. So we're very committed to the agent channel and growing it. We have close to 300,000 seats on our platform. That alone differentiates us there in terms of the size of our platform and how long we've been doing business. We'll tell you a little bit. We just want to share with you that we have some third-party accolades. Again, just speaking to the fact we've been around for a while, we know what we're doing in the hosted arena. There's a lot of providers out there, but not a lot of people with large platforms, lots of users, and the experience we have. We've won a bunch of third-party accolades from Infinetics and Frost & Sullivan, both very reputable companies, and we won them not just 1 year, not just 2 years. We've won them over the last 7 years in a row from these third parties. So if you don't want to believe Chris and I, because we're sales guys, at least believe the third-party, sources here. Some of the companies that we're serving nationwide, a lot of big names. We'll sell everything. We're not picky. We'll do your one-line business. We'll do your 1,000-line multi-location deal. So really no specific vertical in terms of customer size. We can handle either. Some of the bigger names and bigger customers we serve are listed here. Have picked us for a multitude of different reasons. I'll point out Massage Envy. That's one of our newer clients, 1,100 locations nationwide and growing every month. Massage Envy picked Broadview because when they did their due diligence and research on hosted providers, security was the most important thing to them. After all the target fraud with the credit cards and what have you, they wanted a hosted provider who encrypts calls all the way from the phone, back to the network. They came back and told us that we were hands down one of the only folks who could actually do that, and that's why we won that bid. So just wanted to share doing some big name accounts nationwide. So a second before we get into our differentiators, if you're not already on the unified communications bandwagon, if you're not already selling hosted phone service, we really think you should be. Frost & Sullivan, post forecasted growth, 29% growth year over year. It's just grown in leaps and bounds. A heck of a lot more than the traditional voice and data that many of us have been selling for the last few decades. It's all about growth in the UC space. So if you're not on the bandwagon, let's join here. Broadview alone, we're predicting double growth in terms of our number of seats. At the end of the year, we are trending towards about 7,500 seats a month we are turning up, and we're aiming to double that here in 2016. So we're experiencing tremendous growth, and if you're not already on this bandwagon, encouraging you to jump on it. It's a little bit of a different sale. If we're used to just throwing up 3 quotes to a customer and telling them to pick which one is best, that kind of customer is probably going to pick the cheapest because that's how you're presenting it to them. We think the unified communications sale is quite a bit different. You really have to get into the needs of the client and make it a solution sale and a consultative sale. There are differences with the hosted providers. Some are strong, offer international service. If your client has international needs, you may go with that provider. Some are stronger in security. If that's important to your client, you go with a different provider. I think the sale is different, and it's a lot more than throwing up 3 different quotes for 3 different hosted providers. You need to explore what their business needs are. We encourage a demo strongly to show the customer the differences, not just with the physical phones, but also with the portal and how easy it is to use it, both as an administrator and a user. We're going to show you in a couple minutes our portal and how easy it is to use, because we think that's a real differentiator, and we've invested a lot. We want the demo time. So we have rolled out something to everybody in this room, and actually all TCG subs, is just because we feel so confident in our product and our demo that we're giving you $75 just to bring us out on a demo. So our close rate is great once we're actually demoing. When we're just a quote up on the board, you know, we don't win because nobody knows us. But if you bring us on a demo, you got a $75 gift card. So why are we different? This is really what we want to hone in on today. First of all, we are not BroadSoft. Despite our name of Broadview, everybody gets confused and thinks we're BroadSoft, but we are a different platform than BroadSoft. We use a platform called Silhouette. It was an independent company out of Canada. We liked it so much when we started that we bought the company, put it in-house, and now we control the R&D. So that alone is a big differentiator. If you're carrying, 5, 6, 7, 10 other hosted providers in your portfolio, my guess is 99% of them are BroadSoft. BroadSoft is a perfectly great platform, but you might want to offer your client something other than BroadSoft, because there's differences there. We call our platform SILNet. It's not a SIP network. It's SILNet, which is just a name that we branded, and that's just an important differentiator to us. We're actually 100% cloud-based. We think we're the only 100% cloud-based solution out there, because we've taken our phones. We're using Mitel branded phones, and as of July 1st, we added the full Polycom suite. But we've stripped the phones down, and we've made them dumb terminals. So there's no smarts in the phone. Everything's in the cloud. And that's pretty unique, because now when you do things like log on from another location, you have a phone in one office, you have one in your home, you have one at a remote sales office. Regardless of where you log in with your 4-digit extension, everything is following you because there's no smarts in the phone. So it really makes that feature easy to use. Enter your 4 digits, all your call history is there, your speed dials, your voicemails, everything is there just as if you were at your main work location. It's also really great for security. Again, none of that call history is there. Phones are lost or stolen or broken. And as I said before, we actually encrypt the calls all away from the phone. So security is a big differentiator for us. Rather than me belabor how we think we're easy to use, because telling you about it, it's a lot better to see it than for me to tell you about it. So I'll defer on that until Chris does the demo. As far as owning our own platform, since we control the R&D, we get to control what features come out when. And we have an inner circle of our of agents who join us once, twice a year for a day-long session with our executive team and talk about what's working and what's not working, what do they like that our competitors do that we should be doing, and so on. We listen and we implement the recommendations that come. We just had our last session mid-May, and our agents told us that we need to improve our network readiness test. We had a 24-hour test that really was pretty basic previously. They told us we need to expand upon that because that's the hugest sore point with the circuit quality, affecting call quality. So our team left in mid-May, and after that session, and they developed an office suite readiness test. Chris is going to talk a little bit more about that in more detail in a few moments, but we listened to our partners in mid-May, and here we are, mid-June, and we actually have this available on our portal right now where we can do a 7-day, 14-day, however long the customer wants, before we cut over to assess the network readiness and if the circuits are good. Eliminate any of those potential problems before we ever do a cut over to our hosted platform. We think that's a real game changer. We haven't seen something this advanced out there on the portal. Chris will show you a little bit more later. I wanted to bring it up, not just because it's a great feature and a game changer. It's a great example of how we listen to our partners. And because we control the platform, we can control what gets released when.
And that test bandwidth, is that what it does?
Yep. Well, and lots more too, but.
Yeah.
Will you guys sell bandwidth as well to the customer?
We'll do either, yep, with or without. Yep.
No, okay.
Thank you for that lead in here too, we think the other big differentiator about Broadview is that we're definitely a hands-on, we're not a drop ship a box and figure it out yourself. We have project managers who will oversee the whole implementation, what numbers are porting where, how do you want things set up, your auto attendant. We have trainers who will train the customers both before the cut, after the cut, and a week follow-up to see if there's any lingering questions. We really invest in a hand-on approach, not leaving the customers to figure it out themselves from a website. We have all the website tools and all these great videos to help a customer walk through it, but we augment that with a hands-on approach. We have a technician come to the site beforehand to do a site survey, make sure we have the Cat 5 cabling and everything's ready and that we didn't forget about overhead door alarms and buzzers.
So, managed Wi-Fi? Is it bolt on?
We do not, no.
Okay.
So you can bring your own network or we'll provide it. A couple more things about Broadview in terms of our commitment to the channel. Everything we're doing to grow our business and hit our objective of doubling our number of seats is going to happen through the channel. So we are very committed to the agent community to hit those results. And we're trying to demonstrate that with our spiffs, with our residuals, which we recently increased on Office Suite because we're all about hosted, and some of the resources we've devoted to the channel. As an agent of ours and a sub-agent of TCG's, you get a dedicated pricing specialist who's there to do your quotes 24/7. So if Chris is on the road or at an event like this or doing a demo, you're not waiting around for paperwork. Someone will get you paperwork right away. We give you a dedicated sales engineer, a project manager who will work all your orders so you get used to dealing with the same person. We put an account manager on your accounts to help retain and upsell them. And by the way, you get paid for the life of a customer, not just the life of the contract. You'll get paid as long as the customer remains a customer. And we put account managers out there in the field to help get those customers renewed and upsell them. Our local account manager here in Florida sits down in Miami. And she manages the bulk of the customer accounts down in South Florida.